Hey guys, it's Gail with Everything Nash and the fantabulous Ann Wilson, who we love a whole bunch.
Hi.
Good to see you, my friend. Okay, so
Oh,
really
good to
big
see
day
you.
today because
Yes,
your book comes out today. Tell me all about it.
I'm so excited. So this book has been a long time coming. I wrote this book actually in 2 months. It was a very quick process. I got together with my high school French teacher from Kentucky, where I grew up. At my high school. It was awesome. And we wrote this book together. And I really felt like it started when my Jesus the song came out. And it was like an immediate connection of, oh wait, this song is actually impacting lives, this song is changing people's lives. There's a lot more to the story here that I feel like we really need to share with people. So I decided to write this book, and we wrote it in 2 months. We wrote it last year, and it really talks about my childhood years up until today and what God did in my childhood, but also obviously like the story behind the song and all of that. But really, it just kind of shows how God was always preparing me for this, even since I was a really little girl. And so it's a really beautiful story. It's called From Heartache to Hope. And so the whole point of the book is really just showcasing God's goodness and how he does so much through tragedy, and how he never wastes a tear. He never wastes heartache. He never wastes death and loss, but that he always uses it for good. And so it's just been a blessing to write this book, and I'm really excited about it. And it's crazy that I have a book out at 20 years old. Like, it blows my mind, but I'm just really grateful and excited about it. So
When you were talking about how like he counts the heartache and he counts our tears, I had actual goosebumps. You can't see them, but I had them. Do
uh,
you like it has to feel a little bit like continually opening a scab when you keep talking about the loss of your brother in some aspects, right?
yeah, definitely. It's very interesting because it's very bittersweet for me because my whole career, we wouldn't be doing this interview right now if my brother hadn't passed away. And so it's very bittersweet with, like, I would trade it all to have my brother back. But I'm also really grateful for what God's done in my life and just the ways he's blessed me and everything. So I feel like there definitely is, it's like that, opening the wound every time I speak about him. But honestly, the book was really healing for me to write. Surprisingly, I was super nervous about it. But I mean, I had to dig deep into my past, my memories with Jacob. I had to listen to old, voice memos and old voicemails he had left me. I had to go through text messages between us. Like, there was a lot of healing that had to kind of take place during that time, through writing this book. And so it's actually been a blessing. And honestly, I mean, I talk about Jacob every day of my life, so I'm used to it by now. But there's also a sweetness to it of just like a reminder of what God's doing through the loss of him. So it's all around. Definitely, it hurts, but it's also healing at the same time, if that makes sense.
The cycle of you sat at the piano to play What a Beautiful Name, which is such a beautiful song that led
Thank
you to
you.
sing at his funeral, that led you to this now wildly successful career that we're going to talk about. Like, that has to be God ordained. That's literally the only way.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, God is all in it. It's amazing.
So let's talk about your career, ma'am, shall we?
Yes.
Dove Award winner. Hello.
God is so good. It's been a
So
crazy ride.
yeah, Dove Awards, K-Loves, um, selling a bazillion albums. I think that's the actual number now, bazillion. Can you just wrap your mind around that?
I can't. It's insane. I think about just the fact that I'm just Anne from Kentucky. Like, that's how I view myself, because that's who I am. And that's just, it's just a gift that I get to do it for Jesus, because that's what makes it worth it for me. Like, knowing that at the end of the day, all of the glory is his. That's what is so beautiful about it. And that's what makes me just, I mean, all of this is clearly God. I can't make this happen for myself. And so it's just an honor that he chose me to be in this position and trusted me to do this for him and his, his kingdom. And it's a blessing. So it's really hard for me to wrap my mind around it. I think also just the fact that I'm only 20 years old is like, I forget sometimes that I just graduated high school 2 years ago, and like that my life has drastically changed in 2 years. But I mean, it just goes to show that God is so good and faithful, and he can do anything with anyone, and that he can use anyone for his glory.
So I got to talk to Matthew West last week, which I know you just signed with his management company, which I think is so
Yeah.
exciting. He was telling me that he started working with you when you were 17, and now he's kind of like your side person, enjoying all of this with you. Can you talk about your relationship with him? He's such a great guy.
He is. He's awesome. Yeah. So we met in 2017. We wrote together, or not 2017, when I was 17, 2019. And we started writing music together and we just immediately became friends. And I had been a fan of him like my whole childhood because I went to Winter Jam and I would meet him at concerts and sit in line. Like, I mean, I've met him 5 or 6 times before I was in the industry. And so I was a huge fan of his music, like genuinely. And so that was really crazy to get past just meeting him and knowing him. And, but it was just great. We became friends and we started writing together. And then it kind of progressed into working with different writers. And so it'd be me, him, and one other writer. And then my really good friend, Jeff Pardo, who I'd been writing with for, I guess, a year at that point, we paired the three of us together and we were like, let's try a new trio together. So it was Jeff Pardo, me, and Matthew. And that's the day that we wrote My Jesus. And then we wrote 6 or 7 other songs that ended up on the record. So they basically, the three of us wrote half of the record together. So now they're like my main writing trio. And then I was going through some management and I signed with his management team, and that was a gift. And I'm so grateful because he's amazing. And so it's really been fun to kind of have like a big brother in the industry that really watches over me and gives me so much advice. And he's been there, done that. So it's really amazing having him part of my team. And but I still can't even get over the fact that I even like am friends with him because I was such a big fan of his. So, but yes, he's amazing. And he actually wrote the foreword for my new book, My Jesus. So super, super sweet. And he's an incredible guy.
Yeah, he really is. My kids love him too,
Yeah.
which I love. When you wrote My Jesus, did you have any idea it would become the song heard around the world? I mean, we sing it at our church, our choir sings it. My daughter asked to sing it before bed last night, by the way.
Oh, that's so
Um,
sweet.
but it's really the song heard around the world. Did you have any idea when you wrote it that you had written gold?
No, I really didn't. I mean, genuinely, I remember calling my manager at the time and we always had like a scale and he was like, hey, out of 1 to 10, what do you think My Jesus is? And I was like, I think it's like a 5, maybe a 6. And that was like, meaning it wasn't super, super good in my opinion. And I mean, I loved the heart behind it, but I didn't think it would be my first single. I didn't think it would go gold. I mean, I just, all the things that have happened, I'm blown away. But again, it goes to show that God can do anything with anything, and especially songs. Like we always talk about this in the creative room and the writing room, is I can only do so much on my part. I can only give my all to the song, but that God decides what to do with songs once we release them into the world. And I just remember praying that night and just saying, like wholeheartedly, God, would you just do what you want with this song? And so to see what he's done with it has been remarkable. And to be a small part of that is just such an honor. It's just, I'm blown away every day.
You also have some tour stuff coming up the rest of the year.
Yeah, I've got a lot going on. I'm on the road a lot. I'm with Casting Crowns and Kane. And then I go out with Phil Wickham, which I'm super excited about in December. We have 4 shows. So it's a quick little West Coast tour. And then I'm going on Winter Jam 2023. We just announced it yesterday. And that's super full circle for me because I grew up going to Winter Jam. And actually, one of my last memories with my brother was in line waiting to go to Winter Jam. He waited all day with me, didn't go to the concert with me, but waited outside all day in line with me because I couldn't be by myself and he wanted me to go. And so it was this, we wanted to get front row tickets and all that. So he was with me the whole day. And so it's just a really full circle to be able to play Winter Jam. So I'm going to be on the road a lot next year and the rest of this year. And it's just crazy. I can't believe I'm living on the road like this. It's awesome.
I love it. Do you think if you hadn't lost Jacob, would you have the maturity that you have right now? Because you're obviously just so wise beyond your years.
Thank you. You know, I feel like, I don't know. It's like, I definitely grew up. My mom and dad raised me to be super independent, and I've always just been independent. And my mom and dad are incredibly wise. And I mean, they're so solid in their faith in Jesus. And so they were huge parts of raising me and obviously still speaking to me every day of my life now. But I really feel like losing Jacob just changed my perspective on life. You know, as a 15-year-old girl, you're not really thinking about heaven. You're not really thinking about leading people to Jesus. But for me, I lost Jacob and I knew I had to lead people to Jesus for the rest of my days on earth, however long that may be. I want to lead people closer to God and I want to bring as many people with me to heaven as I possibly can. And so I do think losing Jacob was a big maturity marker in my life where it changed my perspective and grew me up as a person and into an adult at 15 years old, in a sense. So it was a big part of losing my brother for sure.
Last question, I'll let you go. By the way, you're passing the goosebump test. Like you keep giving me goosebumps.
Aw,
So,
so sweet.
new music, because your album's been out a while. So, what are your thoughts on new music? Where's your head at with all of that?
Yeah, so I'm actually releasing Christmas music very, very soon for the Christmas season. It's actually really interesting because Christmas is a super hard holiday for me and my family with losing my brother. But the Lord has just used me writing my own music to heal my own heart in a really cool way. So I'm releasing one original song featuring a country artist that I'm super excited about. And then I have two covers of two of my favorite Christmas songs. So that all comes out super soon. And we do have music coming out next year that I'm really, really excited about.
Awesome. I hope I find you on the road. It's so good to see you.
Yes, it's so good to see you. Thank you.